A lot of you have been asking for a DIY version of a beard style called the Brogue. Well, the Brogue requires a little bit more of a mustache, so I had to spend a little bit of time trying to grow mine out. Having a big beard kind of sucks in the summertime. It robs you of some of the simple joys, like drinking beer on a patio, coffee in the morning without getting it down your white shirt, ice cream cones. These are all the enemy of a big bushy beard. The day you're gonna shave it off, you're determined to do it, and then you look at it and you're like, it doesn't really look too bad, does it? Yes, it does look that bad. So today, by popular request, I'm gonna show you guys how to do the Brogue style, short structured beard with an emphasized handlebar mustache. I'm gonna show you all the best tips and tricks I know on how you can do it yourself at home. Let's get into it.
My name is Matty Conrad. I've been a professional barber for over 27 years, and in that time, I've built a number of barbershops and started a brand called Victory Barber & Brand. I spend most of my time traveling around the world teaching other barbers all my tips and tricks on how they can be better barbers. Now, I've been featured in a number of magazines, but more recently I've been showing up as a grooming expert on GQ's YouTube page. Collectively, that series has over 25 million views. So that inspired me to start my own YouTube page so I could answer some of your most burning questions and share with you guys my best tips and tricks to take your grooming to the next level. So here they are.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Matty Conrad. And before I get started today, I just really wanted to say thank you. Thank you to all of the people that have been watching my channel and all of the guys that have been making comments and lending their support. It's really amazing. This just came in the mail the other day, and this is the first award I think I've ever gotten for something that has to do with social media, and it feels pretty good. So thanks very much. I really appreciate all of you guys watching. I hope that I'm giving you valuable content. I get a lot of feedback from both clients and barbers, and some barbers are really upset at the idea that I am sharing some of these tips and tricks with you on how you can take care of yourself at home. But to those barbers, I would just say this: I'm not trying to take away anybody's livelihood, man. I'm just trying to teach people how to take care of themselves. We're a generation of guys that didn't even really learn how to shave properly. Most of us have never been taught a lot about our own personal grooming. Honestly, beard trimming is not as intimidating as it seems. It just takes practice. So my goal here is really just to help demystify some of the techniques and help guys achieve their best looks at home. I realize not everybody has access to a great barber. So if you do have a great barber, by all means, you should be going and getting advice from somebody that knows your hair and your beard intimately. Me on the internet can only really give generalized advice. I can't give you anything that is going to be specifically relevant to your texture, density, face shape, all of the things that go into determining whether or not a beard is going to be right for you. So I will do my best to give you information that can hopefully help you out, but nothing is ever going to replace the need for a really good barber. And if you haven't found a really good barber, go check out my video on how to find a barber. Okay? But let's move on. Today, I'm going to be showing you a DIY version of a style I call the Brogue. And the Brogue is a short beard style. I've been growing my beard out so I can show you guys how to do this transformation, because the biggest component of it is making sure that you have an emphasized handlebar mustache. And the mustache is the hardest part of the beard to grow out because it robs you of some of the simple joys of the summer, like drinking a mug of beer on a patio or eating an ice cream cone. And for those of you that have ever grown a big bushy mustache and simultaneously had some sort of a cold, blowing your nose is a complete nightmare. I do this for you guys because I want to teach you how you can recreate these looks at home. But let's just do a quick review on what a Brogue style is. Time for the nerdy stuff.
All right, it's time for everyone's favorite part of these videos, the nerdy stuff. In our last video, we were talking about the difference between a beard stache and a Brogue.
Let's give a quick recap here. The beard stache has gained massive popularity because it's a great entry-level mustache. Celebrities all over are starting to wear this style because it creates less contrast for the mustache and makes it feel a little bit more rough and ready and less 80s porn star. The Brogue is basically a version that leaves more beard on the bottom, which is more complementary to certain face shapes. It features a slightly fuller chin area while maintaining a distinct and exaggerated mustache. Now, it should be noted that some people refer to this as the Verdi beard. It's of course named after the 19th century composer Giuseppe Verdi, who gave us such musical works as La Traviata and Rigoletto. but you probably already knew that. I've just always referred to it as a brogue because with the turned up mustache points and curved top lines, it always reminded me of the shape of a brogue style shoe. Now I know that I have had the internet in an uproar when calling a shoe a brogue. It is, of course, relating to the pattern of the shoe and that traditionally wingtip shoes have the same style toe cap, so perhaps I should call it the wingtip style. And if you want to do that, go right ahead. For me, it just sounds much cooler and more masculine to wear a beard called a brogue than it does to refer to your beard as a wingtip. But again, call it whatever you like. When you launch your own beard-focused YouTube channel, you can do whatever you want. And for those of you that need a refresher on the basics of beard physiology, you've got the interior, which is the general bulk and shape of the beard, the outline, which consists of the back line, the base line, the top line, and the lip line, and the mustache, which consists of the center area, or the peak, and the extremities, which we call the points. Now, this beard is usually paired up with a handlebar or English-style mustache. And if you still aren't sure what that is, the English Handlebar Mustache Association describes it as a hirsute appendage of the upper lip that has graspable extremities, which is still the most English thing I've ever heard. This is a slightly more difficult style to maintain at home, but you're in luck because we're going to walk you through the steps of how to create one right now. Let's get into it. All right, so as you can see, this beard is out of control. Definitely needs a trim. And as always, I'm wearing a white t-shirt, which is a terrible choice. But I do this for you guys, and trust me, nobody wants to see my nipples. So my beard is pretty bushy right now, and that means a lot of hair is coming off, which means I'm gonna need a blow dryer and a vacuum for this one. Let's get into it. Step 1, washing the beard. As usual, I'm gonna wash my beard before I trim it. I always recommend that you trim your beard when it's freshly washed and dried. So I'm gonna wet it thoroughly, and I'm gonna use the wash from Victory Barber and Brand. Now, I designed this stuff myself because I couldn't find beard wash I was happy with. Also, it made my beard feel incredibly soft the very first time I used it. This one has gentle plant-based cleansers, nourishing baobab oil, activated charcoal, and a bunch of natural ingredients that care for the skin and make my beard smell great. To get the full benefit, you want to leave it in for about 60 seconds. While I'm waiting for that, here's the tools that you're going to need for this. Today, I'll be using a clipper, a trimmer, some clipper guards, a pick, a comb, and a brush. And yes, these are the prototypes I've been working on. And no, they still aren't ready. What can I say? I'm picky. Anyway, after 60 seconds, I'm going to give it all a good rinse and make sure to remove all the lather from the beard. And then I'm going to pat it dry with a towel. I'm not going to rough it up and make it all crazy. I'm just going to try and get some of the moisture out. Ready for step 2, detangling. You see this thing? It's called a pick, and it is the best tool on earth for detangling a longer beard. It puts very little tension on the hair, which means that you're removing a lot less hair, which is going to keep your beard thick and full. Once I've got all the tangles out, I can switch to a regular comb and start shaping the mustache, which is kind of important to do before it dries. I'm going to part it in the middle and start combing it out to the side. When I get towards the points, or the ends of the mustache, I'm going to use the comb to start turning them upwards. Blow dryer time. I'm just going to get the flyaways to sit down a bit. Then I'm going to start with the mustache and direct the airflow from the peak towards the points. The goal is to heat up the hair, which makes it easier to shape. To get the points to turn up at the ends, I'm going to take my comb and hold the main part of the mustache down while blowing the points upwards. Pull the comb through the mustache slowly and repeat until it looks a bit smoother. Then I'm going to take my brush and direct the airflow downward to smooth out the rest of the beard just a bit. It's good to hold the points of the mustache out of the way while you do this so that they don't end up drooping down. If you feel like the beard is getting a bit too flat when you do this, try blowing the hair upwards under your chin. Well, that looks ridiculous. Here, let's fix that a little bit. Yeah, that's much better. Let's move on. Step 3, tapering the sides. I'm going to start by tapering the sides, and that happens here in this area. So I'm going to grab my clipper and my number 3 guard with the clipper lever set to open. I'm going to start about an inch below my earlobe and work upwards using a C-stroke. That means I'm making this shape with my stroke and rolling the clipper away from the face as I move upwards. This will help me blend it into the longer lengths above my sideburn. Now that that's done, you can see a bit of a weight line here. I want to try to blend that to slightly longer lengths below. So to do that, I'm going to turn my clipper upside down and I'm going to work downwards using an inverted C-stroke just like this. I'm just going to hold the points of my mustache out of the way while I do this. You don't want to cut those off. The important part here is that you're pulling away from the face when you're doing your C-stroke. This will help you preserve length at the bottom that will allow us to build our shape. Well, that's looking a little better. Let's start on the other side. Still using that C-stroke to blend the sideburns. Inverted C-stroke to blend out that weight line. I am definitely not ambidextrous, so this part's always a little bit tricky. Let me get that mustache out of the way. Remember, always pulling away from the face in a nice, gentle C shape. That's looking better. And you can see how much more narrow the beard looks already. Step 4, freehand shaping. Well, that's going to be it for the guards, so you can take that off and close the clipper lever. I'm going to start by setting the baseline right here. Now, because this is a pointed beard, I'm going to start from the side instead of the front, using my clipper inverted to punch a nice clean line right through the base of the beard that descends from just below the corner of the jaw towards the Adam's apple. After my first pass, I'm going to comb through it to try and find any hairs that are tangled up inside the beard, and then I'll clean them up too. Then I'm going to repeat it on the opposite side. Set my line, invert my clipper, punch a line right through. Getting this even on both sides takes practice, so if you don't get it right on the first try, that's okay. It's a beard. It grows. You'll get better next time. A good rule of thumb is to start just slightly lower than you think you need to on the second side. You can always adjust it, but most times I find that you end up closer to that line than you think you would. Also, pay attention to the angle of your clipper head. You want it always to be parallel to the line that you are making. So you can see it forms a bit of a point in the front, so I'm just going to clean that up, make sure that looks even. Normally I would go shorter for this kind of style to leave the mustache looking much more pronounced, but I need my beard to grow back for a secret project I'm working on this winter. I'll tell you guys about it some other time. Okay, now that we've done that, I'm going to blend the bottom of the beard and the sides together using freehand, just getting the flyaways by working straight down and floating over the shape. Definitely hold the mustache out of the way on this one. You can see that I'm slightly softening the squareness of the shape. If you leave a short beard too square, it can make you look a bit like a cartoon character. But I mean, if that's your vibe, then go for it. All right, we're just finishing up the interior of the beard, which is looking pretty good. It's time to move on. Step 5, the outline. For this step, I'm going to need the trimmer. These are specifically designed to do sharp, clean outlines, and this really makes the beard look stronger. I'm going to start by cleaning up the back line and the back of the sideburn. And then I'm going to try and punch a clean line down towards the back of the jawbone. This is always the hardest part, and it's difficult to see the back, so I almost never know if it's going to be clean or not. There are multiple mirrors you can use. I've seen tricks with iPhones, but usually I just grip it and rip it. Once that first side is done, it's time to clean up the baseline. Tilt your head back to stretch the skin on your neck a bit tighter, and then clean up the line across the bottom until it looks sharp and linear. Then I'll turn the trimmer to its natural position and use it to shape my neck. If you want to get an even cleaner finish, follow this step up with a foil shaver or a straight blade. My neck has been a bit sensitive recently, and I've got somewhere to go after this, so I don't want to look all red and blotchy. I'm just going to stop after the trimmer. Okay, let's get that other side. Again, not ambidextrous, so this one part is always the hardest part of trimming my beard. Not bad. Okay, it's time for the top line. I like mine to have a nice curve to them, or what we call a natural outline. To achieve that, I'm going to place my finger on my cheek and stretch the skin upwards. Then I'm going to cut a clean line using my trimmer that descends from the corner of my ear to the side of my mouth. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, now let's try and get it even on the other side. Nailed it. Now, before we do the mustache, it's time for part 6, styling. I like to style the mustache a bit before I trim it, so I can make sure I don't remove too much and just get the parts that are problematic. I'm going to comb through the rest of the beard as well and look for any flyaways. Then I'll take the blow dryer to remove the shrapnel and get the hair off my t-shirt. Then I'm going to grab my Victory Barber & Brand Super Dry Oil-Free Paste. This stuff is my absolute favorite product for styling beards and mustaches, if you want them to still look natural and not super stiff and shiny. I'll just work a little bit into my palms and heat it up until it all turns clear. Then I'll apply it to the beard. Work it through with a comb. This really helps hold down any flyaways. Then I'm going to comb it through the mustache using the comb to curl the points upwards. Okay, now it's time for step 7, the mustache. I really just want to trim the peak, which is the center part between the two nostrils, so I'm going to take my trimmer, turn it on its side, and starting from the center of the lip, roll outwards to clean up the bottom of the stache. I really don't want to take too much off. I want to preserve the points. And holy shit, does that look different. Look how much hair came off. It really changes the shape of my face. And here's the Glamour Shot.
All right, guys, there it is, the Brogue. And hopefully you've learned how to do this yourself at home. Now, I know there's a few little tricky areas, and don't get discouraged if it doesn't work for you the first time. A lot of the techniques that I'm teaching you guys take a little bit of practice, and I've been doing them for a very long time. So just stick with it. Make sure you fill out the survey for me that's in the description below and help me design the best possible beard tools for you to use at home. I use them on myself today, and I gotta tell you, I'm pretty impressed with how they work so far. So make sure you leave me that feedback, click like and subscribe, and leave your comments and questions below and your suggestions for other videos, because next time I might be answering your question. Until then, good luck and good grooming.